SmackDown took place tonight in Dallas, Texas. To start the show off, we had some superstar arrivals. We saw Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Jacob Fatu arriving for the men's Elimination Chamber Triple Threat qualifying match. And then we saw Alexa Bliss, Julia with Kiana James with her, and then Zelina Vega with Aleister Black with her, arriving for the women's Triple Threat Elimination Chamber qualifying match. And then we saw both Jade Cargill and Jordan Grace arriving for the WWE Women's Championship match, also on this show. Tiffany Stratton officially kicked off the show. She was wearing all red for Valentine's Day. Very nice gear. She gave Blake Monroe a run for her money, who was also celebrating Valentine's Day this past Tuesday on NXT, also wearing all red. And Tiffany was quickly interrupted by Nia Jax and Lash Legend. They go back and forth until Rhea Ripley and Io Sky interrupt them. Then Tiffany eventually leaves the ring, and it leads to the match starting right away. You know, I thought maybe is Tiffany's ring gear, is it for Valentine's Day, or not her ring gear, her all red outfit, is it for Valentine's Day or Friday the 13th? I think for Rhea Ripley it would definitely be for Friday the 13th, or maybe My Bloody Valentine. I'm sure she had to have some sort of special gear made, but today is also Friday the 13th, if you don't know. And 2026 actually has 3 Friday the 13th this year, and there will not be a new Friday the 13th movie. It's been 17 years since the last Friday the 13th. This is the kind of franchise people assume that the year 2026 would be up to like number 25 or something. It's been 17 years. That's crazy. But there is a new series, so hopefully we get to see more Friday the 13th content. We get to see Jason Voorhees come back soon. But we had the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship matchup here. Rhea Ripley, and Io Sky defending their titles against Lash Legend and Nia Jax. So the heels got the heat on Io Sky to start. Lash broke up a near fall after a riptide, and then Rhea hit the over the moonsault on Nia, but as I said, Lash broke it up. I just don't like how they keep pushing Lash. She's not good. She's not ready for this. She's too green. There's so many women in NXT who are way better than her, who have not been called up. They all, I think, have more potential than her. Eventually, the match just gets thrown out, and it almost, to me, seemed like a botch. It was like, why? What happened? Rhea just went to the outside, and I think Charles Robinson just calls the match off. It was so weird how they just called it off like that. It didn't make any sense to me. If someone used a chair or something, okay, but like they just called it off for going to the outside. They go to the outside all the time in tag team matches. So there was no good reason other than, they want a rematch probably going to happen. Maybe at the Chamber they didn't announce it. That's what I thought. Or maybe it'll happen on SmackDown again, but I definitely see a rematch. And then eventually tables were set up. Nia Jax was on the apron. Io ran off the ropes and like kind of almost did like a crossbody into Nia, driving her through the table. And then Lash Legend actually speared Rhea Ripley through the barricade. So all chaos, setting up an eventual rematch down the line. Then we go backstage to see Kathy Kelly, looking great by the way, interviewing Cody Rhodes ahead of his match tonight. He cuts a promo on being in Texas, mentions the Cotton Bowl, mentioned the Von Erichs, of course, for a pop in Texas, always mentioned the Von Erichs. And then we go backstage. Carmelo Hayes was talking to Apollo Crews and Matt Cardona before his open challenge tonight. Then The Miz walks up to him, says his usual spiel. Who cares, really? WWE actually showed, this was after the break, they actually showed footage of the Seattle Seahawks victory parade after winning the Super Bowl, and we saw several Seahawks players holding up the custom WWE Super Bowl championship belts. They actually have the Super Bowl 60 logo. It looks really cool. I'm not going to buy it, of course, but it does look like a cool championship belt, and it is good for WWE to promote themselves with the NFL, setting up, promoting their championship belts. They do look pretty damn cool, I'm not going to lie. But Seahawks celebrating with WWE championships at their Super Bowl parade this past week. And then we see Aleister Black and Zelina Vega cut this video promo. First, Aleister talks on Randy or something, cuts a promo on him. And then Zelina Vega cut a promo on Julia and Alexa Bliss. I don't really know much what she was saying too much about Alexa. They haven't worked together too much despite having like the same body type. Anyway, Carmelo Hayes was out next. He says qualifying for the Elimination Chamber, he's going to qualify for the Elimination Chamber next week. Then he calls out Ilya Dragunov. Instead, Solo Sikoa and the MFT are randomly out before the match. This is after Ilya is in. Then the MFT jump in. They attack both Mello and Ilya. However, Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews come out to make the save. And then Shinsuke Nakamura comes out. He got his own entrance. Don't know why. I feel like Cardona is a bigger deal than Nakamura at this point. But Nakamura was the one who got his own entrance. And then Nick Aldis came out and made a Texas-sized 10-man tag team match. Playa. We get the MFT against Matt Cardona, Apollo Crews, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov, and Shinsuke Nakamura. I'll be honest, I really didn't give a shit about this match. Felt like kind of a house show match. It's a sci-fi match. Maybe that's a better term because in the United States, SmackDown had to air on Sci-Fi because on USA Network, they were airing the Olympics, the Winter Olympics. So they had competition from there, and the Olympics were, of course, prioritized before SmackDown. Tama Tonga actually pinned Carmelo Hayes after hitting a cutthroat, so he'll definitely get another U.S. title shot very soon. Solo Sikoa held up the lantern after their victory, but then the lights go out and the Wyatt Six appear, and they stand in the crowd. They didn't say much. I almost could have sworn that Uncle Howdy had a microphone, but then they just cut it off. He didn't say anything. They show footage of Charlotte Flair eliminating Alexa Bliss in the Royal Rumble. Then we go backstage to see Alexa Bliss, who is greeted by Charlotte Flair, who asks for her forgiveness. Alexa explains she understands that the Royal Rumble is every woman's for herself. And then Charlotte says the same thing applies for the Chamber, so clearly there's going to be tension there. Charlotte actually gave Alexa some presents for Valentine's Day. Actually, she gave her black roses, which Alexa likes. That almost made you think, oh, she's going to turn black roses. But and then she gave Alexa a picture of herself, and Charlotte here is very revealing, wearing a red dress. And eventually Charlotte tells Alexa that after she gives her the presents that she's going to be in her corner for the match tonight. So it makes you think that Charlotte's going to do something in a match that's accidentally going to cost Alexa Bliss the match. Backstage, Nick Aldis tells Damian Priest that he has a qualifying match next week. R-Truth was there also. That's when Kit Wilson was there. He was upset. He read a Valentine's Day poem, and then Truth made fun of him for a while, which was actually funny. Truth being very entertaining. Alexa Bliss was out next, and she got a nice pop in Dallas, and she was out with Charlotte Flair, who was wearing a very revealing red Valentine's Day dress, and looked great, not going to lie. And did I say it was revealing? Anyway, Charlotte, her, Tiffany, Blake Monroe, Liv Morgan, who we saw later on, by the way, all really celebrating Valentine's Day, all really wearing the red this past week. Really looking forward to it, and I'm not going to complain. I definitely enjoyed that as well. Anyway, Alexa, as I said, receives a nice pop, always very over no matter where she goes. She's probably, in terms of getting the loudest reactions, almost the second most popular female star in terms of just pops and overall reception from the crowd, only behind Rhea Ripley. So unlike her opponents, Zelina and Julia got no reaction. So Alexa's the only one really over. Of course, you just know. I mean, Zelina came out, she had a new entrance. She was like, she used Aleister Black's name instead of her horrible regular entrance name. Then it mattered, didn't get a pop. And of Julia, yeah, of course she doesn't get a pop. Anyway, we get the Women's Elimination Chamber Triple Threat qualifying match. Alexa Bliss versus Zelina versus Julia. So, as I said, Alexa was the only one getting a reaction. Fans are behind her. They're actually chanting Lexi, which I kind of like. That's her, I don't know if that, her real name's Alexis, but everyone calls her Lexi. So, I guess Charlotte calls her Lexi. Fans have picked up on that, and now everyone chants Lexi. Even though no one calls her Lexi in terms of the announcer. She's always pronounced as Alexa. But there was a botched code red. I think it was bad. It was almost like a Canadian destroyer that Zelina hit on Julia, and it actually looked pretty scary. But then Julia eventually hits the Northern Lights bomb on Alexa Bliss. I think that's when Kiana James tries to get involved after Zelina broke up the pin. And then I think it was Zelina fighting off Kiana James, but that's when she gets caught with the Sister Abigail DDT from Alexa, who gets the win. Alexa pins Zelina, and Alexa Bliss qualifies for the Women's Elimination Chamber. Charlotte Flair raised her hand after the match, and she's in the chamber along with Charlotte now, so we'll see. Actually, no, Charlotte hasn't qualified. I made a mistake. I assume Charlotte will qualify next week. She's in the women's qualifier next week. Wouldn't surprise me if it comes down to Charlotte and Alexa in the chamber. That's probably where we're going. And unfortunately, I can see a situation where Charlotte defeats Alexa and wins the chamber. Charlotte goes on to face Jade, and Alexa is left off the WrestleMania card for I think this would be the 5th year in a row. I can see that scenario, unfortunately. I don't want to see it. I like Alexa, but she might not get a spot on the WrestleMania card once again. So backstage, Jordynne Grace was talking to Tiffany Stratton. She wants to see her at WrestleMania, and this was the last time we would see Tiffany in her red outfit. And then Chelsea Green in a walking boot goes up to Tiffany, demands an apology, and she was in a wheelbarrow being wheeled by Alba Fire. And then Tiffany mocks her injury. Tiffany's really good at that, I have to say. She's definitely a good talker. She has certain charms or certain charisma that her voice is really good, I think, for wrestling. And her delivery is good, I have to say. After the break, Sami Zayn tells Rey Fenix to teach Trick Williams a lesson. Then he apologized for the way he acted last week. He was acting as if someone shot his dog last week after he lost to Drew McIntyre for the 12th time officially in WWE. Trick Williams was out next, and I don't like Trick. I've never been a fan of him. If you watched my NXT reviews last year, you know I don't like Trick, but he's over, no doubt. I'm afraid this is going to be another Jey Uso. That's what I really don't want, but he's cutting a good promo, I thought, on Sami Zayn, and he gets the what chance. Played right into it. When you keep pausing and listing stuff, that's perfect opportunity for the fans to start chanting what at you. You have to know better than that. Then Phoenix comes out. We get Rey Fenix against Trick Williams. Trick won after the Trick shot. Not much to say here. We go backstage, and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky were upset about their match. Then Julia walks up to them, and she has to be consoled by Kiana James because Julia was just so angry after her loss earlier. And then Jade walks by Io, and Rhea has a brief stare down with Rhea. They want to keep us guessing. I don't think we're getting that match at all, but eventually down the road, not at WrestleMania this year, but down the road, we'll get Jade and Rhea. We got a Jordynne Grace video package after the break. We got a Jacob Fatu video package before his match. Jordynne Grace was out next. Then Jade Cargill was out. So during the ring introductions, Liv Morgan, we heard her music. She came out, interrupted, and she was accompanied both with Dominic and Raquel Rodriguez. No Roxanne Perez. What's going on? Is Roxanne Perez hurt? I want to see her. I miss Roxanne, but we never see Roxanne anymore. I thought Liv and Roxanne should have been you would assume they would have been more closely aligned. I think they could have been a great tag team, but we didn't see Roxanne. We saw Raquel. And Liv, of course, wearing all red. Almost had this type of ring gear, all red for Valentine's Day. As I said, her and Tiffany and Charlotte really celebrating Valentine's Day. I don't know how I'd rank them. And Blake, of course, on NXT, all celebrating Valentine's. It is officially Valentine's Eve. I think definitely more so Valentine's and Friday the 13th. Maybe because the red, the blood, I don't know. That's stupid, but... Liv was out. She got a nice pop, and Dom actually set up a special date night at ringside for Liv. It was filled with, on the table, you had red roses and chicken tenders for Valentine's Day. That's Dom's favorite. So we got the WWE Women's Championship, Jade Cargill defending against Jordynne Grace. Fans are cheering for Dirty Dom during the match. Jade stole a chicken tender from Liv, which was actually pretty funny early on. Eventually, this wasn't much of a match, to be honest. It was everyone knew Jade was going to win. She just hit Jade and beat Jordan. They were feuding for almost a month, it seemed like, and she just pins her, and that's it. Jordan's not going to be in the chamber. I don't think Jordan's going to get on the WrestleMania card. No way now. And kind of sucks. It was man, that's it? Why did they even do this for? I mean, this was Jade's first official title defense in 3 months, and she beat Tiffany Stratton in the first day of November. So 3 months now, more than 3 months, 3.5 months, and since her first, until she has an official title defense, she wins. But I didn't like the match too much. After the match, Jade stares down Liv. She threatens her as Raquel watched on. Liv blows a kiss to kind of mock her, but it's a match. I mean, we're not getting Jade and Liv. No way. It's Liv and Stephanie. That's what's going to happen. Backstage, Candice LeRae was talking to Johnny Gargano. He actually mentioned his tag team partner being gone, him losing everything, and I'm thinking, oh, that's funny. He actually indirectly referenced Tommaso Ciampa. Then Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns laughed at him. MFT walks backstage. Then Solo Sikoa goes up to, I think, a locker room door and finds a picture of himself, kind of, I guess he's like a stuffed pig. I don't know. It was weird. We got an Obafemi video package, and then we go to Nick Aldis' office where he's trying to sign Obafemi, and then Kit Wilson barges in. This sucks. They're overdoing it. The show is too long. Too many segments. It would be so much better as a 2-hour show. Like, the content, I think, in 2026 has been better than 2025, as I've been saying on SmackDown, but it hurts when it's 3 hours because it just feels like it's just dragging too much when you get this kind of segment this late in the show. And they're overdoing it with the toxic thing with Kit Wilson. It's funny at first, it works, but I mean, you can't do it more than once on the show because then it just kind of gets annoying and repetitive and almost irritating. It's like, oh, okay, it's not funny anymore. They preview next week's show. Backstage, Kathy Kelly interviews Drew McIntyre before the triple threat match. He cuts a promo on the participants. Then Sammy confronts Drew, but then Drew actually wishes him luck before he made his entrance. And that makes sense because Drew always beats Sammy. He wants him to win. He wants Cody not in the chamber. He doesn't want Jacob Fatu in the chamber. He wants Sammy in the chamber because if Sammy can win in the chamber, Drew has a guaranteed win at WrestleMania. So it actually does make sense with how we acted tonight. So after the break, Fatu made his entrance. Then Cody came out to a big pop, and we got the men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu versus Sami Zayn. So tables were brought out in midway through the match, but then they were thrown back into the ring, under the ring, and Jacob just seemed like a full-blown heel when he was doing that. You don't, Roman Reigns started that actually, like when he was a heel. Bring out the tables and toss them back under the ring. That shows like that's the ultimate heel because the fans always want tables. And that was definitely the thing Jacob was doing here. So fans seems like they're really not into Sammy anymore. He was actually getting some boos. Fatu, I felt like was starting to get over. I heard some Fatu chants. There were several near falls near the end. Eventually, I think Cody's on the outside. Jacob hits the moonsault onto the same moonsault Tiffany Stratton used. Jacob hit it onto Sammy, but then Drew hits a Claymore kick onto Jacob. So he costs him the match. Drew then throws Jacob to the outside, and he actually powerbombs Jacob through the announce booth. And then Drew hits the Claymore on Cody in the ring, who tried to fight him off, but Drew hits a Claymore in the ring, and then he drags Sami Zayn over Cody Rhodes. Takes a while, however, for the referee to recover. But once the referee recovers, 1, 2, Cody kicks out. Drew's furious. He goes after Cody again, but then Sammy takes out Drew with the haluva kick. Cody takes advantage. He hits the crossroads onto Sami Zayn. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes gets the win and qualifies for the men's Elimination Chamber match. He is in, and he is definitely now certainly the heavy favorite to win the Elimination Chamber and go to WrestleMania. He's definitely the favorite now. So Cody with the win. That's how SmackDown ended. Not a huge fan of this show. Not a bad show. I mean, it's a sci-fi show. It had trouble because they're going up against the Olympics, so it was preempted and had to go on sci-fi. So it wasn't going to be the type of show WWE really wants to go all out for. But I still thought it had its moments. It wasn't a great show, but it had its moments. Definitely let you know it was the Valentine's Day Eve. They let you know that. But, it was okay. I didn't think SmackDown was too good, and hope everyone on there with this. Whatever your plans are for tomorrow, wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And I also wish everyone, for the last 10 minutes of the night, a happy Friday the 13th.